Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and on and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be looking at, a game that we've been working on for a while. We're going to be working on the Nechromancer's Guide to Dolls and the associated agony that goes along with it. It's going to be great, and I'm going to have fun doing it. So, what did I do in the meantime? Nothing much. I didn't really do that much to it. I cleaned up like some wording, but nothing really too exciting. Mostly when it came down to just like fixing this section up to make it look a little bit better and just making things look a little nicer in some places. Still not sure about extra head, but that's just what we have to deal with. So, generally speaking, everything should be good in that regard. So, what are we doing today, though? What's the specifics with today's game? Well, we're going to be working on the battlefield objects and scavenged goods, as well as setup and knockdown skills. Technically, I should also put in pretty much battle map extended edition, which is going to be taking just the basic battle map and making it different, because I can do that because I have literally zero sense of right or wrong in this nightmare that we call my life. So, let's get on with it. So, what we're going to do today, right now, though, we're going to do battlefield objects and scavenged goods, because that shouldn't be too difficult. Because here's the secret, everybody. I'm actually going to see if I can't ride out the entirety of the rest of the year, kind of thing, with Nechronica, kind of ending things. That's kind of the end of the year to finish this up, because most likely what's going to occur is it's going to be by the end of the week. My goal is to actually wrap up Nechronica, and through the 20th to the 24th, probably won't stream. Probably won't stream until the beginning of the year. Depending on how things go, though, we might have a 25th stream, pretty much a Christmas. Actually, when is Christmas? It's 25th. We might have a Boxing Day stream at the 26th. So I'm like, wait a second. I was like, wait a goddamn second. A little fucking fly. There's a little fly. There's a little fucking fly that's been in my room for a while now. On the 26th, on Boxing Day, that's Sunday, I was debating on doing a stream, which is pretty much just going to be me. Well, it'll be an endurance stream. It'll be an endurance stream where I break myself in half for your entertainment, because I am a sad, miserable creature, and that's something I would enjoy doing. So, but yeah, and that endurance stream would be me wrapping up as much stuff as I can get done. So what are we doing today, though? So let's do scavenged weapons and armor. So let's see, the apocalypse. Hit hard and without mercy. Let me just actually make sure. So let's see. So the apocalypse, hit hard and without mercy. The dolls are simply byproducts of the end of days. Let's see. The dolls are simply byproducts of the end of days. In the destruction of the old world, many things were left slagged, destroyed, or simply non-functional. However, the ingenious, desperate, or simply demand. Let's see. The ingenious, desperate, is simply desperate. Actually, no. It would be ingenious or desperate. However, the ingenious or desperate can turn any object into a blunt force weapon. A blunt force weapon or impromptu armor. So scavenged weapons. Scavenged weapons and armor. And armor is a subsystem dedicated to picking up random objects, so I can say objects, and clubbing your enemy, and and having the dolls, having the. Where are you, you little bastard? You got one the other day. So if you hear an awful clapping noise, you know it's me. Just okay, let's see. Objects and having the doll. Let's see. Scavenged weapons and armor is a subsystem dedicated to picking up random objects and having the dolls brain their enemies with them. So, during the let's see, during the adventure phase, or during the battle phase, if the weapon is present. Actually, during the adventure phase, the doll may find a simple tool, or basic armor to attach to themselves. They find a simple tool or basic armor to attach. Let's see, a simple tool to bash others upside the head, or some makeshift armor. Or some makeshift armor they can that barely fits them. Little fly, why are you here? Tell me that, little fly. Little fly, why are you the way that you are? Because I know where they're coming from. They're coming from my little fucking crack in my window that I can't make go away because they've locked my window. Let's see, do I have a... Put you right there. So let's see, makeshift armor that barely protects them. When the battle phase kicks off, the doll may employ these items in the field. Let's see, employ these items in the field. Instead in the field, treating them as standard parts. That's literally all this system is. That is quite literally what this system is going to be. Because Nechronica actually does not have a system for picking up a metal pipe and beating someone over the head with it. Nechronica does not have a system for that. That is just not a thing that you can actually do in Nechronica. Which you don't think is actually, like, that big of a deal. You don't think about it, but then you're like, wait a second. Wait a fucking moment. Like, that is kind of important. Let's see, we don't want that. We want parts, so let's choose the neck. Paste you, actually, I should paste you, like, right. Paste you right there. We don't actually need to worry about the connected part. What we can do is just drag you up here. So actually, look, post you right there, and what we're going to do is going to be a scavenged. So scavenged melee weapon, which is going to be in your arms, and your timing is going to be in action. Now, the big thing about these is that I want them to be not efficient. These are not something that you want to use actively. These things are very, not great. They're there for very specific reasons, and that very specific reason is Yeah, that very specific reason is just to have something in, just to have something to hit someone with. That's literally it. It's not really supposed to be anything valuable. Let's see. Arm and boot knife. So we're looking at about melee attack 2. What's a melee attack 1 look like? Let's see. Let's do melee. I should do melee attack 1. So dismember, explosive, dismember, dismember, stagger, stagger. So most of these have something with it. If you're just doing 1 damage with a melee attack, you are often doing something else. It's usually like a dismember or a stagger. So this is just going to be literally melee attack 1. So we'll do just melee attack 1, and it's going to have. How are these written, by the way? I gotta remember. It's periods, not yeah. So melee attack 1, and it is going to be. What do I want to? No, I know. Oh, fragile. Fragile. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we can do. We're gonna have to put in a brand new thing, which is going to be like, hey, this is going to be. What's the average cost of this? So let me see. Melee attack 1, 2. Melee attack 1, 2. Looks like it's about 2. Yeah, it's about 2. 2, 3. So we want to make this about. So mostly we want to make that 3. This is not useful. That's the big thing. These aren't useful. But it's allowing you, someone who may not actually have a weapon, to use it. Like you have this weapon now. But the thing is, it's going to be like, actually, what I should say is a fragile weapon. It's going to be a fragile weapon. It's going to be a little bit different from, actually, no. We're going to make it a new condition. We're going to call these fragile. Fragile is going to be their own thing. So this is going to be a scavenged ranged weapon. It's going to be arms, timing, action. Cost is going to be a little bit heavier. And it's going to be range attack 1. And actually, this is going to be range 0. This is going to be range 0 to 1. Well, actually, what we can do is we do scavenged short range weapon. So it's going to be range attack 1. Range attack 1, and it's going to have the. It's going to be fragile, and it's also fragile and ammunition. Ammunition, which is going to be the idea. Like, you don't really have to track ammunition with all these, and I still don't want these to be tracked. But just the fact that this isn't like your weapon. This isn't like a armament. This is not a, this is not your like. This isn't your hand cannon. This isn't this isn't your hand cannon with 0 to 1 range, and you range attack 1 and is like pretty good that you can shoot all you want. That's not a thing in this. That's not the point. The point is that they are not the best, and they just do range attack 1, fragile ammunition, and they're gonna probably run out of ammo because guess what? These are old weapons that probably aren't very good. So what we're going to do is going to be a long range weapon, and that's going to actually be 1 to. It's going to be 1 to 2. So you can actually use it in range. We're going to make that range attack 2. So it's a little bit awkward to use though. And we want to actually let's bump up the cost. Actually, no, let's keep the cost to this. Let's bring down the range weapon. We'll make that the 4 because 4 is a pretty big deal. Like, and then we need to do scavenged light armor. Action is going to be only 2. It's going to range as self. And it's going to be defend 1. Let's see, the scavenged light armor will break when used. So pretty much the second you use the Scavenged light armor, it's going to break. So it's kind of like your choice of like, do you want to use it now or do you want to use it later? So this is going to be the Scavenged medium armor. It's going to cost 3 AP to use. It's going to have 2 AP, defend 2, and medium armor will break when used. And then we're going to do Scavenged heavy armor, which is going to be 4 self, and it's going to be defend 2. The Scavenged heavy armor will break when used twice. So yeah, you pretty much have to you burn 8 AP to use it twice, but it's defend 2. And that will be, and what we'll do is a Scavenged tank suit, 6. Defend, it's going to be a defend 3. Actually, no, we're going to do a defend 4. But it also costs 6, which will be the most expensive part in the game. By far, it will be cost 6. Now, for context's sake, Amalia here has 9. If she's wearing a tank suit, she's going to not be able to act the rest of the round, pretty much. But that's the point. Like, it's defend 4, and let's see, the Scavenged tank suit. Let's see, reduce its defend value by 1. Every time it is used. Yeah, these things, like, again, these aren't great, but they're not supposed to be good. So we've got the Scavenged melee weapon. I should actually do a light and heavy melee weapon, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'll do that. We'll make this a Scavenged light melee weapon. Scavenged heavy melee weapon. 4, range 0 at melee attack 2. Still fragile though, because I find it funny. Do I have impromptu explosives? That wouldn't be a terrible idea. Like to have kind of like like a basic explosive on hand, in case situation calls for it. Let's do Nechronica IEDs. Let's see. I want to do a question at here. Scavenged explosive device. Explosive devices in Nechronica. Nechronica? Yes. No. Wumpus, I am like, okay, edit. I want to edit. Stupid fucking Wumpus looking bastard. Okay, there we go. Yep, 39 people. Yep, Scavenged device, explosive devices, Nechronica. Yes or no? There we go. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is... Yeah, well, welcome to the most expensive piece of item in Nechronica currently, the Scavenged tank suit. So, let me just make sure. Yeah, Scavenged light melee weapon. Arms, 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 arms. Actually, this would be torso. 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 Any. Actually, no, this would be torso as well. Actually, I can put in Scavenged helmet, and it's going to be a cost of 2. And when the doll takes a critical hit, reduce actually no, when an enemy scores a critical hit on the doll, they may reduce it down to a regular success. destroy the helmet. Destroy the scavenged helmet. So this would be timing damage, range self. I would actually, you know, we'll make that cost 1. So this would be damage, 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 damage. That would be the damage timing, if I recall correctly. Because if we do the armor, yeah, it would be damage. Because I gotta like double check of like what is the like correct way to put it. Where, okay, so. All right, well, that's a no right there. So, no, okay, we're not gonna add it. All right, so what we need to do is put these in here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put like fragile at the end. Like, this is what fragile does. This is what ammunition does. If you want to make some more like detailed things, like these aren't supposed to be like really in depth. That's not really the point. They're supposed to be kind of impromptu, and it also makes things like them a little more strong, a little bit more powerful. But I think that's where like fragile comes in, because the idea behind fragile is that if you score a pretty much if you crit either direction, like you crit as a hit or you crit as that, it doesn't do anything. Actually, if you score critical success, it just goes back down to a regular success. And congratulations, your weapon is destroyed. But because it's not like, yeah, no, like don't use these things. That's not the point. Let's see. So all scavenged, all scavenged gear will be actually, yeah, all scavenged gear will be destroyed at the end of the battle phase. All scavenged gear will be destroyed at the end of the battle phase, with it being with it being discarded by the dolls, because it's just going to fall apart. So, and what we're going to need to do is fragile. Actually, what do they end up calling it? Because they're not called conditions, and they're not called like tags or something. They're called something completely different. Let's see, reinforcement parts. Where is it? Where was it? I want to find what I'm looking for. It would be in reinforcement parts. No, it would be here, right? Because it would be in like. Because for some reason, again, sometimes this fucking wiki. Okay, there we go. Let's see, hinder, move, stagger, explosive, area attack. So it would be called an effect. That's the term. Certain scavenged gear will have unique effects. They are listed below. They're listed below. So it's going to be effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a table. And let's just actually post this in here really fast so I don't forget, because inevitably, wait a second, scavenged helmet has to go on your head. Helmets don't go on your torso. That's ridiculous. Let's see, they are listed below. So what we want to do, what we can do actually, just make sure. Okay, so we just need to make a 2x2 grid effectively. That's literally all we need to do. And we will do this, and what we need to do is we need to hit that, and extend C out to about here. So this is going to be the effect, and this is going to be the, do they give it a name? Which is going to be the description. The description. So effect is going to be fragile. So fragile. The part is incredibly fragile. It is incredibly fragile when the doll takes damage to that section. When the doll takes damage to that section, this part is always hit first. To the section this is to the section it is located in. It is located in. This part is always hit first. Like, you will always hit that one regardless of whatever you roll. So it might be like if you have 3 parts in there with a fragile one, you're going to destroy your fragile one first. This part is always hit first, which could be very valuable or not. If making an action check, if the doll rolls a critical success or critical failure, the part is destroyed. That's so, because fragile is supposed to be kind of the idea that it's not really that great, but it's there to make it work. So ammunition. The part has an indistinct set of ammunition still in it. When used for a maneuver. Because again, an attack maneuver is technically that's how it's worded effectively. Let's see. The part has an indistinct set of ammunition. Is when used for a maneuver, roll a 1d10. On a 1 to 2, on a 1 or 2, the part has no more ammunition. And cannot be used, and the maneuver fails. You spent the AP, you've already used it. Increase the chances by 2. 1 to 4, 1 to 6, 1 to 8, 1 to 10. So pretty much, but you can use it about 5 times before you just run out of ammunition. Increase the chances by 2, 1 to 4, 1 to 6, 1 to 8, 1 to 10, etc. Every time the maneuver is used. There we go. That should be it. Am I missing something? Nope, defend. We already know what defend does. We know what range attacks do. It's just fragile and ammunition. Fragile. And that means we get to go right here. We get to post this. Let's see. Indistinct. So we need to select all of this. We'll make this a darker gray. There we go. These will be our 2 effects for this situation, and we can slap an image right there. Neato burrito. Cool. Well, that's that, really. We don't really need to worry too much about that. So what we need to do now is battlefield, the battle map battlefield objects. Yeah, I should add those. So, battlefield objects. When on the battle map, the battlefield before the dolls will be filled with opportunity. opportunity, and situations. It will be opportunity and risks. And it will be filled with opportunity and risks. When, let's see. How do I want to word this? How do I want to word this? I want to word this in a way that makes it sound good. So, when on the battle map, the battlefield before the dolls will be filled with opportunity and risks. The field will be littered with objects, and actually, not objects, objects and objects and situations. Well, yeah, will be littered with objects that can present unique opportunities. I would use the term one on the battle map for the dolls will be will be their canvas to paint with gore. But understanding the studio is almost as important. Okay, the field will be littered with objects and present unique opportunities present unique opportunities to allow the dolls to allowing the dolls to deal with their enemies more effectively. Let's see, how do I want to word this properly? Because the idea behind battlefield objects is that, like, there might be, like, a thing and a location in one of the parts of the battlefield that you can interact with. And once you interact with the thing, it's going to do something. What do I want to look at? Where do I want to look at here? What am I thinking? It's in the official files section, which is a completely different place from everything else, because this website is set up by a gibbon. Very nice gibbon, mind you, but a gibbon. Alright, so it would be like if I had, like, there's a barrel in Limbo, or there's, like, a thing over here that you can, like, just stuff that you can use. We already kind of went over it up here. Oh, down there. We already kind of went over it in obstacles, which I'm probably going to be, like, using, like, here's what obstacles are like. Like, objects that can block movement, attacks. So, okay, so what we want to do is deal with their enemies more effectively. In each section of the battle map, there may be one to three objects that the dolls will be able to interact with. These objects are triggered by something occurring to them, or having the dolls perform a maneuver in the same area. Well, in the same area, yeah. Whether three ways to interact with these objects can be triggered by something occurring to them or having the dolls perform a maneuver while in the same area. So, some example ones is going to be like a very simple explosive barrel. if the barrel is attacked, if the barrel is targeted by a combat maneuver, and would take 1 damage, it will deal explosive 1. It'll deal, actually it'd be, yeah, no, that would be the correct term. It'll deal explosive 1 range 0 to all entities inside of it. Inside the area. Then we're going to have like some, let's say like light cover. Actually, no, what we can do is heavy cover. If the doll makes a defense maneuver, against a ranged attack, increase the defend by +2. Just because you're in cover, you're saying like, oh no, I'm being attacked at range. Well, there's this giant wall here. I'm going to stand behind it, obviously, but you have to use a defense maneuver. Actually, what we can do is, no, if the doll is targeted by a ranged attack, attack maneuver at range 1+, they have defend +2 against it. They just have it for free because there's heavy cover there. What we want to do is, we want to do like a state. Actually, what would be another fun one at the top of my head? What would be some fun battlefield things? I just kind of interact with the things to do on it that allow you to do other things. Buzzsaws. If the doll is forcefully moved into the area, if the doll is forcefully moved to the area, the source of the movement may decide to throw them into the buzzsaws. Having them perform a dismember check. I'm having them perform a dismember check. Check on a section of their choice. Hit. Actually, what would be some other fun one? What other ones do we have? Ow. Let's see. That would be some other good ones. Rocket to launcher. Dense fog. Dense fog. The doll. If the doll makes a maneuver. Actually, no. If the doll is inside of the fog, all maneuvers Actually, all attack maneuvers are at -1, but all attack checks against them are at -1. So pretty much you can hide inside of the fog a little bit. Like, I get a -1, you get a -1. Let me see. Oh, corpse bin. If the doll spends 2 AP, they may root around in the corpse bin. Well, let's see. They may root around the corpse bin, regenerating one basic part. Actually, we'll bump that up to 3 AP. Let's see. It spends 3 AP. They root around, regenerating one basic part. That's kind of a desperation move. But hell, that's half the fun now, isn't it? Let's see what some other ones that are odd. Spine, treasure, adrenaline, antenna, cyborg. Actually, we can do some weird ones. Gravity inverter. If interacted with, the gravity of the battlefield inverts. Let's see. The gravity of the battlefield inverts, meaning all of the dolls upwards, sending the upwards or downwards. Upwards or downwards, they will need to spend 2 AP to remain standing. Or break a bone. Actually, they'll need to spend 1 AP to remain standing, or make a check. Failure has a part being broken. And what are some like crazy weird shit that we can pull off, because it is a weird sci-fi setting that allows you to do things like that. We could probably throw in oh, I know. Sludge. If the doll moves into the area with the sludge and ends their movement there, they are considered to have hinder move 1 applied at all times. And actually, we could probably do, maybe some other fun ones. So we could throw into, just like throw it on the map. Just things that you can throw onto the map to make things go explodey. Let's see, we want to add... Give me a Nechronica wiki. Please don't break down now. I'll feel very sad if you do. Because if you break down now, I'm going to have to, wing it some more. So let's see. We want to do. Bring me more pots. Actually, no. Actually, we'll do rapid. Actually, we'll do Lazarium. Lazarium pit. No, yeah, Lazarium pit. If the doll moves into the area with the Lazarium pit, They may spend 3 AP and regenerate all reinforcement parts. And regenerate all damage reinforcement parts. They will re-break at the end of the round. Because welcome to Lazarium, everybody. What we should do is like a time distortion. Time distortion field. Time distortion. If the doll moves into the area with the time distortion, if I can fucking spell correctly, distortion field. Roll 1d10. 1 to 3. All check actions, all action maneuvers are now rapid for the round. 4 to 6. All maneuvers take plus 2 AP to use. 7 to 8. Let's see. Doll creates an echo. They take 2 madness to their fetters. To any fetter. And then 9 to 10. Doll loses all remaining AP. Doll loses all remaining AP. It's you either become super fast, everything is way more expensive because you're slowing down. You go insane because you're creating an echo. Actually, Doll creates an echo, allowing them to perform a second action for the same cost, the same AP cost for free. They take 2 madness to any fetter. Doll removes all AP. It's either complete time stop, or or pretty much you're seeing yourself perform something else because you're just moving that quickly and you're in a time distortion. Because welcome to nightmares. What would be another good one? What's a final good one to really add into this too? Actually, mural. If the doll ends their turn, if the doll ends their movement and spends 2 AP in the area, they may admire the ends their maneuver. They may admire the mural, removing one madness from a fetter. This may only occur once per doll. There we go. Time distortion. Because that's kind of like the idea behind battlefield objects. Is like they're just things that occur that you can now interact with a little bit more. Because again, Nechronica doesn't have rules for that. Because Nechronica doesn't really need those kind of rules. But I want to add them in because I think it's fun. Let's do that. It also allows you to make terrible decisions and get people killed. oh no, I'll use my explosive, the place where the explosive barrel is. I'm like, well, I wonder what's going to happen here. Well, kids, let's all learn what explosives do. The answer is explode. Let's see, heavy cover, buzzsaw, dense fog, corpse bin, gravity inverter, sludge, Lazarium pit, time distortion field, and a mural. Let me see, I want to do select all of you, we'll not do that. That works perfectly. And for those who don't know, Lazarium is actually from a few of my games. I use Lazarium a lot, actually. Because, if you want to hear the story of the Lazarium, it is quite literally, I needed a name for the magic heal-all, and so I called it Lazarium, and it's kind of just stuck because I like the name. That's literally all it is. Not exactly the most ingenious name I've ever come up with, but sometimes you don't need to have fun and exciting names, you need to have efficient names. Let's see, so... yeah, okay, we have battlefield objects. It's a battle map extended edition. Alright, so... what is the battle map extended? So, battle map extended. The standard Nechronica battle map is divided into five areas. Let me just bring this up so I don't forget them. It's going to be Eden, Elysium, Limbo, Hades, Tartarus. Each of these reflect a part of the battlefield as well as the relative situation of being in that part. Tartarus is dangerous and close to hell, while Eden is safe and surrounded by allies. It's a back and forth of trying to figure out the ideal location and where and when to fight. Extending this map can go in one of two directions. So we're going to do verticality, heaven or hell. Heaven or hell. Actually, it would be... so, take a drink of water. Heaven or hell. They blame the beasts. Diddling. I'm just reminded of one comment I saw in a Guilty Gear video that I thought was hysterical. It's Jacko's theme, Popcorn Go Burr, Leo's theme, I have war PTSD, guitar solo. That's all I can remember now. It's heaven or hell, guitar solo. Yeah, see, I'm a filthy secondary when it comes to Guilty Gear. I love the music. Cannot play a fighting game to save my fucking life. I'm fucking awful at fighting games. Love the idea. I love watching fighting games. A good Tekken tournament, I could watch that shit all day. Let's see, verticality, heaven or hell. When the Nechronica has achieved a certain anime vibe, to its existence due to its many themes and art. And however, Nechronica's verticality in combat is usually not too well explored. Usually not too well explored for various reasons. But we want to amplify the anime. So when expanding the battle map vertically, add in the heaven or hell layer, heaven and hell layer to each section, to each area, I should say. So heaven or hell can be treated as if there is an invisible layer on top and below each section of the map. So one may be in Elysium heaven, or Eden hell, with Elysium actually, or it would actually Elysium heaven, and let's do Hades hell. So what may be Elysium heaven or Hades hell. Elysium. Let's see. Actually, one may be Elysium heaven or Hades hell. These represent these two layers represent how high or low, actually high or comma low, the doll is relative to the quote standard battle. And then I'm going to actually have to, I wonder, do I actually have this rigged up correctly? I do have this rigged up correctly. So I'm going to do a little bit of art. Now you're going to see me actually have to do artwork on stream. Yeah, it's fun, everybody. It's the most fun we ever have. Yay! Yay! Let's see, I want to copy image. We want to put this in here. And nope, that's not it. I need to hit the 3 button. There we go. So, how do I want to word this? So let's reduce it down like this. What I would need to do is... No. I know what I need to do. Okay, I know what I need to do. So these represent relative to the standard battlefield. There are, let's see, there are two methods of achieving. Actually, no. A doll, when using any movement maneuver, may spend an extra 1 AP to go vertical. Allowing them to leap into the air and start blasting. Blasting, slashing, or throwing. Being in heaven. Well, actually, no. I need to explain what the bonuses are. So, being in heaven grants a +1 to all attack roll. All attack rolls against targets below them, allowing them to strike targets, strike enemies easier, and hit those who need to go. And hit, let's see. No. Being in heaven grants a +1 to all attack rolls against targets below them, allowing them to strike enemies easier. Being in hell, however, grants a -1 to all attack rolls against them, making it harder to strike any person below the standard field. Because the idea of what I'm getting here is going vertical isn't necessarily simply, Leslie, you jump into the air 20 feet and start flying or whatever. No, going vertical is pretty much you leaping off of something. You have kind of this advantage, like you put yourself up higher, now I can shoot down below. Being in hell, however, is being underneath things. We're underneath a sewer grate and they can't see me very well. I am, I dove under the water real fast, so they're hard to hit. It's not easier to hit you necessarily. It's not like you can't hit them easier, but it's harder to hit you. So it's kind of that back and forth. And that does mean technically someone in hell is going to be able to negate that bonus that's from someone in heaven because it's just harder to hit them. So it's kind of that back and forth. Feels good. Let's see. Being in heaven grants +1 to all attack rolls against the target below them, allowing them to strike enemies easier. However, grants a -1 to all attack. Being in hell, however, grants a -1 to all attack rolls against them, making it harder to strike any doll below the standard field. Actually, what I should say is the Nechromancer. A doll can go vertical. Vertical if there is the appropriate object in the area. Kind of referencing the one before. Doll can go vertical if there is an appropriate object in the area, or there is a entrance below. Actually, object in the area, or Nechromancer approval. Nechromancer approval. They must use a movement maneuver. Let's see. They must use a movement maneuver +1 AP. +1 AP to successfully go upwards, or just use two movement. Actually, just use a standard movement to go below, to go to hell, to actually successfully reach heaven. Go to hell. It's easier to go to hell. It's easier to not get hit, but it's also a lot harder to go to heaven, but heaven you get a little more bonuses out of. Or just use standard movement to go to hell. Enemies and dolls can be forcefully sent to heaven or hell. Let's see. Enemies and dolls can be forcefully sent to heaven or hell with a move maneuver used against them. Used against them, or used against them, as well as be brought up from hell, or come crashing down from heaven. Heaven the same way. The range required is always +1. Range required is always +1 to whatever it is. Actually, no. So the range required to hit a target in heaven or hell is at a +1 unless they are in the same area. So, for example, now this one's a little bit weird. I'm gonna have to probably put an example here. It's I am in Elysium. My enemy is in limbo. They are in heaven. I am not. It's going to take me two range effectively to hit them, because I have to kind of aim upwards and they're flying around, and it's kind of harder for me to hit them. That's kind of the idea. However, if they are in Elysium and they are in heaven, I can hit them as if they were range 0. So I can, slash at them with my sword or something, but I can't use like a range 1 attack against them if they are in limbo and in heaven, or limbo and in hell. With the idea being like it's just harder, it's kind of like more awkward to hit, so you need a longer range weapon. This does also make things such as like a sniper rifle very good in certain cases, because if you're in Elysium and they are in limbo, technically they aren't 1, they're 2. That means you can go bonk, and you like pull, bang, and shoot them out of the air. So if you have a bunch of flying enemies, a sniper rifle turns out to be pretty damn good. Pretty good. Let's see. A doll unsupported. Unsupported in air. Yeah, actually, unsupported in heaven will touch down at the end of the round if they haven't already. If they still have both bones, because let me see. Let me just double check here real fast, because everyone's going to start with bones, if I remember correctly. You start with 2 bones. Yes, you do start with 2 bones and a foot. If they still have both bones and a foot, they can land without issue. If they do not, they must make a check. Actually, if they still have leg sections, if they still have leg parts, they land without issue. If not, they must make a check. They must make a check. If they succeed, they land with relative grace. If they fail, a random part is a random part is broken. The idea being that if you launch yourself in the air, you're fighting up there, but you get both of your legs tore off, you're going to come crashing down, like at the end, be like, well, shit, I have no way to support myself, so I'm going to fall now. Guess I'll die. Ta-da! So, yeah, that's kind of this, that's a little, just amusing little side note on verticality. Because that should allow you, a entrepreneurial Nechromancer, to kind of fuck with the dolls at some points. You can be like, hey, by the way, these enemies are flying. That means they're going to, they're going to maul you to death because they get a bunch of bonuses to hit. Like, get higher or go below. Make sure they can't actually hit you. Just dive. Remember, kids, they can't hurt, they can't kill you if they can't reach you. That's just life lessons. Okay, so our next one is going to be... what do I want to call it? Not checkerboard. 3 by 3x3 grid. What would be... Is there a specific name for what I'm going for here? Because there's a specific name. Now, not a tic-tac-toe one. What am I thinking of? What am I, it's not go. That's not, that's not correct. No. We'll call it, we need something stupid to call it. Oh. Tic-tac-bone, horizontal. So tic-tac-bone, and it's going to be grids and columns. Grids and columns. So, let's see. For larger battles, it may be prudent. To expand the battlefield outwards, adding in two separate columns to each section, to each area of the battlefield, each area of the battle map. These columns do nothing by themselves. However, it does increase the range and abilities of certain actions. A doll will always be able to move upwards. Actually, it'd be along the X, and actually be able to move up a column or across their row. For a move maneuver, but never diagonal. This represents, but never actually. Do we want to add diagonals? We'll always be able to move a column or across the row for a move maneuver, as well as being able to move diagonally. when explosives, well, actually, when it explode, if I can fucking spell, when explosives go off, and it would normally cover the entire area, they may now instead cover an entire, like it would be, they may now cover an entire row or column, forcing the dolls to consider their positioning even more. So the idea would be, if we're taking this, it would be pretty much splitting this up into 3. So you could, for an explosive attack, you hit everything from the, let's say, the left of Tartarus, Hades, Limbo, Elysium, and Eden, or all of Tartarus, or all of Hades. So it adds in a different section. It adds in some more complications to the fight, because now you're having to think about where you are on the grid. Am I in this column? Well, this column's now being threatened by him. Or am I in this column, but that column's now being threatened by somebody else? Like, it's like, oh god. So the range of all maneuvers remains the same. Forcing the remains the same. Yeah, no, that's fair. Remains. Yeah, so the range would remain the same. So if you're in the right of Tartarus, if you have a range 1 attack, you'd be able to hit the center Tartarus, center Hades, lower and left and right Hades, but you wouldn't be able to hit, left Tartarus or left Hades. Let's see. Entire row or column, forcing the dolls to consider their positioning even more. When choosing their initial placement, the dolls may choose any of the 3 columns to call home during that they call home, allowing for some tactical mobility in the situation. So instead of just being on limbo, I'm in center limbo, I'm in right limbo, I'm in left limbo. Instead of just being in Elysium, it's right, center, middle Elysium. Like, it's all these like little considerations where, well, having moved 2 suddenly isn't like Tartarus to Limbo. You can move there, but maybe you want to go Tartarus, Hades, Tartarus, and then move across into Hades, or maybe you just want to move across in Tartarus. Movement becomes a lot bigger, and because you have a lot more just stuff to work with, and you can actually make kind of a game going on here of positioning and such. That's the goal anyway. When choosing their initial placement, the dolls may choose any of the 3 columns to call home, allowing for tactical mobility during the battle phase. Whenever a skill allows the doll to reposition into a new area, they may also choose which column to place themselves or their allies in, which is a big deal for something like sorority, which allows them to call everyone back to Elysium. Allows them, like, okay, let's reposition. She can freely place you across Elysium, so she may want to say, like, well, I know they're on the left and they're going to come and start ripping our heads off, or like, we've been really focused on the left, let's reposition everyone to the right real fast. Or, hey, I know that you're going to get your shit rocked next time because you're in range, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab you on the other side of this inconvenient place. I'm going to shove you all the way to the other side of Elysium real fast. Make sure that you're going to be safe. Tic Tac Bone. Okay, the opinions have shifted. The people now apparently want IEDs as in their Nechronica game. Cool. Let's see. Initial column diagonally. Tic Tac Bone. And I'll put the sample map here of like how this is gonna look. That'll just be some basic PNG editing. Like that won't be too long. So what I'm gonna do is we already got that. Can I add? You know what? I can add 2 more, and that's what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna be scavenged explosive. Scavenged explosive weapon. It's going to be cost 3. It's going to be blast attack. It's going to be blast attack 2, blast attack 1 plus explosive. And it's going to have consumed. Which could be very bad if it blows up in your hand, because you're going to die. And range 0. Actually, yeah, it's going to be range 0 to 2. Yes, can you just throw this? Actually, 0 to 1. Can you throw this explosive device at your feet? Yes, you can, and I will not stop you. Let me see. I need to put in the head above, and we're going to put in the consume tag. The part when used is immediately broken. And cannot be regenerated. Yep, because you've used it. Like, no shit. Sort of sending. Ah, beautiful. Google, you did something right for once. Alphabet, you lovely creatures, you. This is one of the few times you'll probably ever get me say that. No, I'm not that evil. Let's see. So. As you can tell, like, verticality has a lot more kind of going on with it than this one. This one just increases the battle map size effectively. That's all it does. Nothing should really change. The only thing that would change is like area attacks, but it actually would be. It wouldn't be explosive. It'd be area attack. What is it? Area attack 1 plus explosive. So let me just make sure. Dismember explosive, attack plus X, and it's going to be a. No, it would be a blast attack. Oh yeah, I forgot, because explosives aren't quite explosives. So explosive is its own thing. So this would be blast attack 1. Blast attack 1 plus area attack. Not explosive necessarily, because this would be like having a grenade. Actually, should I put explosive on there? Yeah, I can put explosive on there. Do we want explosive? Let's see. Target adjacent. Attack plus X, area attack. Then all entities in the same. No, okay. It would not have explosive though. That's the thing. I would say it has area attack, but not explosive, because explosive would pretty much force you to take it on 2. This is literally you pulling the pin on a thing and throwing it and hoping to God it doesn't pop on your face. So it'd just be blast attack plus 1, blast attack 1 plus area attack for 3 AP, which is very bad, which is very bad cost. Battle map expanded. Cool. That's pretty much all she wrote in that regard. I don't need anything else. So, set up and knockdown skills. That's what I need. Let's see how long we've been streaming. We've been streaming for an hour and a half. We could probably add in a few of those, though I might put those at the end because yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put them at the end. No, I want to. No, I'm gonna give every single position. I want to actually. I think I can give every class one, right? Yeah, I can give every class one. Would it be class or position though? Because positions are more kind of theoretic. Okay, yeah, I know they would be class wise. So, what's the set? Knock up and knock down, set up and knock down. The idea is pretty much you're going to have two skills effectively for each one. You're going to have a setup skill. And I don't know what I want to call them. Like half of me wants to call it like an execution or a knockdown, but it's the idea of the effect effectively occurs. So if you choose to do a setup, someone can just perform a new maneuver with that and just get the effect, or you can do a setup, a setup into a knockdown, whatever the fuck I want to call it. Set up into a knockdown and get a bigger effect. So it's kind of the idea of like, well, I can set up this, and you can like, if I set up something and be like, oh, all range attacks gain a gain a +1 because I'm spotting effect, or like gain +1 range because I'm spotting effectively for you, and you perform a standard maneuver. Standard maneuver, you're just going to get a better effect. Like you're just benefiting from me and the setup I did. But if I do a setup for, let's say, again, aiming or something, helping you aim or something, you can then do something like a long bomb shot, which you need someone to set up for you, which is going to be something really good. It's like, hey, somebody sets this up for you, you gain +2 damage or something. Which is really good, by the way. Like, +2 damage is insane. Like, that's 2 parts that could potentially get destroyed. That's kind of the idea. They're a little bit weird, and I was thinking tying them to classes would be probably the best. But it would be things like, let's do our basic classes. So, actually, what I can do. We want to do like the Baroque, for example. This is the Baroque. Actually, the Baroque image is broke. Yeah, the deformed all manufactured mutants. Unlikely organs and expressions, impossible movement, distorting your form as you wish, becomes slightly strange being. Like, okay, so the Baroque, for example. These guys are mutants, and they gain a bunch of things, and most of their things are like, get new skills. With not roll critical success, you can choose location it hits. You gain a bonus to this. You gain a little thing here, a little thing there. Like a bunch of these little things. So the idea behind a Baroque might be, it would be something like, set up, I don't even know what I would call it for pro. Of course, I choose the one that I have like no idea what I would call it name wise, but it would be like unholy movements, which would be everyone in your area. So actually, so it would be like the Baroque begins in unnecessarily violent series of movements drawing the eyes of all enemies. The next melee, the next attack maneuver. Let's see. The next attack maneuver gains +1 damage. Actually gains a +1 to hit. That's their setup. Like everyone in this area, I'm gonna be setting up. But then they could also have like again, I don't know what to call these, so I might just sit down and think about it. Their knockdown might be let's see, what would be some Mad Demon, Karmic Corpse, Extreme Mutation, Instrument of Evil. Instrument is evil. Let me see. This would be something like Heart Ripper. So it's the Baroque goes in for the kill. If they are, and it's going to be like attack, melee attack, melee attack 1. But if set up, melee attack 4 or melee attack 3 or something. So somebody has to set you up, melee attack 3 and with like stagger. Where it's the idea like if somebody sets you up, cool. But if they can't set you up, nothing can occur, nothing occurs. Because the setups, the big idea is that the setups don't do anything necessarily by themselves. It's you are spending a chunk of AP to do nothing directly. Outside, set somebody else up. Is to allow them to do something. It's allowing them to take 20 extra damage or the fuck? What are they? That sounds familiar. Alright. Let's see. So I can see it in my head how it works. It would just be 2 things. It would be the naming and it would be the effects. And there's a few of these already in place. But the thing is, like, they would all have to kind of like they would have to kind of move in together. So Unholy Movement would have to be able to set up whatever the fuck the Thanatoses was. It would have to set up whatever the Romanesques was. It would have to set up every single one of them. And vice versa. It would, like, the Romanesque setup would have to allow for Heart Ripper. The other one would have to allow for things like Heart Ripper, for things like that. That's the idea of what it would do. So designing that's going to take a lot of time, and I don't know if I want to do that right now. Actually, I don't really. So this wasn't very long, but I'm going to call it here for today. If I'm feeling up to it and I get inspired, I might do that. I might do another stream. If I'm feeling also really good tomorrow, depending on how quickly the God Killing Swords video goes, I might stream as well and see if I can't get some more done. Because the big idea is if I'm doing everything correctly, by the end of the week, I'm going to be doing these in twos. So it's going to be the Abomination into the Robotic Entity, then the Non-Human Auxiliary Troops into the Battalion Z. And those are going to be it. Like, I'm aiming for Friday. And after that, I should also say, is just going to be, if I can actually fucking type correctly, weird parts. Just parts that I don't find that are in there. Which this is probably going to be like the roving aspect. Like, if I ever find something that doesn't work, like after this set, like a non-combat functionality, like aptitudes and stuff, this is what I'm going to be doing for what I feel like. If anything ever pops up, I'm going to put it in there. Like, this is going to be a fairly living document of me just adding shit over time, and me wanting to, like, fuck it, let's add this, fuck it, let's add this, fuck it, let's add this. That's what it's gonna be like. That's kind of the point. Special issue dolls, that's gonna be pretty standard. Weird parts, I have a few ideas. I'm just gonna slap them in there just to say that I did more than anything. But yeah, I'm gonna call it there. So Godspeed, good luck. I will see you all on Wednesday, guaranteed. And on Wednesday, I will be probably working on these abominations and robotic entities. So thank you all. Godspeed, and see you then.